So the documentary is out, but I don't think many people are watching. I don't know. Have you guys seen the documentary? It's on Peacock or something. I don't fucking know, but I have not watched it yet. Let's talk about the juror. So do you guys ever hear about the juror who was on the KCA trial? And I think they were interviewed like 10 years after the trial, after the verdict, actually. And they said that it was like a regret that they had like every fucking day or something, that they didn't end up like prosecuting her for the alleged murder of her daughter. And the same juror also, I think, watched the documentary and was like, what did they say? Once a liar, always a liar. You haven't seen it? Yeah, I don't think I care to see it. Oh, you've seen a documentary. Looking forward to people's take on it. What were your thoughts on it? Oh, I found another. If I've been made aware, y'all need to be aware. Wait, what? I found another. If I've been made aware, y'all need to be aware, Corgi. Wait, what? What's in the Discord? What's in the Discord? I don't know. What the hell are you talking about? In her first on-camera interview, KCA makes several explosive claims about her daughter's death, but not everyone believes her. One of the jurors at KCA's murder trial has watched the new interview the infamous woman gave for the new docuseries, and he isn't convinced by her explanation of what happened to her daughter. Her story just changes all the time, says the male juror, who has repeatedly told people over the years that he was haunted by his decision to acquit her. This isn't what we heard in court. This wasn't her defense. This is something different. Not completely different, but different enough. So I wonder, what do you think is Casey's goal here? I feel like why is she trying to win over the public right now? Because I feel like she's kind of like fucked off for, 10 plus years, and kind of like, except for the bar fight or whatever that she had with the altercation of like someone throwing water at her and she called the police like ASAP. I feel like we haven't really heard much about Casey. I wonder what she's like. Is she up to something? Like, why is she making this docuseries, and why is she changing her defense a little bit? Yep, blame her dad again. Yeah. I almost feel bad for her a little bit. Oh, interesting. But I don't trust her. Sad the state couldn't prove their case. I think maybe her and her dad are diabolical trash cans. The apple is actually still on the tree. On July 5, 2011, wow, that's like 12 years ago. The 12-member jury filed into an Orlando courtroom to render their verdict against Anthony, who was on trial for first degree in the death of 2-year-old daughter Kaylee. When the verdict was delivered, Anthony was acquitted on the most serious charges against her. She was only convicted of lying to the police. 2 weeks later, she walked free from jail. Quotations. That made me sick to my stomach, says a juror, watching her smirk as she walked away free, and to know that I was partly responsible for that. You know what really surprised me was that the jury deliberated for like 12, 13 hours. I honestly thought they deliberated longer than that. But in my opinion, 12, 13 hours for a murder trial, that seems pretty, I don't know, that seems pretty short to me. Aside from the true crime community, pretty much everyone has forgotten about her. The fact that she's popping up is very suspicious. Yeah, I'm like, I just want to know what her motives are. Like, what is she trying to do? Or does she need some money or something? Because I'm assuming she's making money off of this. You didn't watch it? Julie says they're both trash. It wouldn't surprise me one bit if they both did it. Some part of me thinks her dad is innocent. She's a sociopath, but I have a hard time seeing it that way. I wanted to watch her dad's testimony because, Jose Baez was very smart by not putting Casey on the stand. You know who went on the stand and made a fool of himself? Jody did. So, wait, I think, did Casey happen after Jody, or did Jody happen after Casey? Fuck. Or it was like around the same time. Because if Casey went on the stand, I don't know, man. I wish like they were. Why can't we put them on the stand? Why? Because they have a right to silence. Why did they get the right to be silent? What's the background story for that? I need to look into that. Why do they have a right to be silent? Because I want them to have to take the stand. Ugh. Well, I have to look into it. I don't know. Maybe there's a really good reason as to why people have the right to be silent and not go on the stand as well. I guess you have a right to not discriminate yourself. There's a scene in episode 3 that makes her dad look awful. unbelievably awful. Oh, what happened and what happened in the scene? To not self-incriminate, I guess. I don't know, man. I feel like they should have to go to this on the stand. They should have to. Part of the Fifth Amendment, yeah, probably. I don't know. I'll look into it. Because I think Jodi. I think a lot of people felt like Jodi did it, but it wasn't sealed. Like it wasn't like sealed tight until she went on the stand. When she went on the stand, they were like, "Oh no, she definitely fucking did it. She definitely did it." They showed the baby's funeral service that had a speech. Oh, that's right. Arias was in 2008. Okay. Has to do with the Miranda laws. It makes your hair curl a little. Oh, is there a transcript for that? Anyone know if there's a transcript? People sat with the juror and watched the interview, which premieres on Peacock, which began streaming today. At several points, the juror asked to rewind the playback so that he can go over some of her claims. In an interview, Anthony dropped several bombshells and elaborates on her attorney's claims that she had been SA'd by her father, George, and her brother, Lee. Both men have denied her claims and have never been charged. They did not return people's messages for comment. Can you imagine the dad and the brother if you really are fucking innocent? Like, holy shit, this fucking sucks. This sucks because this will be forever planted in people's mind. And I don't know. I'm assuming the dad's already retired now, right? But her brother's probably like around maybe our age. I don't know, man. This shit could really fuck with your reputation. Both men have denied her claims and have never been charged. They did not return people's message for a comment. I think the dad recently commented about this, though, I feel like I saw an article about that. She was going to parties. Yeah, I don't know. Let me think. Okay, if we want to be... I don't even want to be charitable towards her. But what's her fucking angle? Her angle's like, oh, my dad did it. My dad said everything would be okay. I had to act like everything was fine. I had to act like I went back to, like doing my normal. I don't know. Because, like, wasn't she not even partying when she was with Kaylee? So it's not like she was just going back to normal routine. She was actually, like, not staying at home and, like, being a mom and stuff. And then she was, like, partying. Like, I don't know. It was, like, I'm trying to think, like, what could have gone through her mind, right? Like, I don't think she's innocent. But if she was innocent, what could have gone through her mind and what could have happened, right? But... who the hell doesn't least look for the kid or call the cops? I don't know. She made some... maybe I have to watch it, but the article that I read said that Casey said that the dad did it. The dad says he'll take care of it, which is really fucking red flags. And that she somehow in her mind didn't believe that her daughter had actually died, or she was in denial or something. Like, honestly, I thought it was contradicting, but... she said she was in denial. She said that she didn't really think it happened. And then she just continued on with her life as if nothing happened. But instead, like, she went out partying and getting tattoos and shit like that, right? Like, I don't know. What if it's how she grieves by partying, getting white girl wasted? Well, there are some people who do party to deal with sadness. I forgot. There was one, I think you guys know about Brandy. Apparently Brandy, the singer, she was involved in a really bad car accident where she wasn't paying attention. She was going like, I think 60 miles per hour, and she didn't I think she was on the highway and it came to a stop and she wasn't paying attention, and she like smashed into the car and she killed the passengers that were in there. I think it was like a mom, and I don't remember if it was like a mom and a kid or just a mom, but I think like weeks after that happened, Brandy was found out, partying, and she was like at her like best friend's birthday party or something. And like people were giving her shit for that. For me, I think it's like, people do grieve differently. And I think the fact that like, even though she was involved in this really atrocious accident, that was clearly her fucking fault. But the fact that like she was out partying and stuff like that, like, I don't think it means that she had no guilt. It could just be that she was trying to take her mind off of things, right? But I don't know, with the Casey thing, right? It's like that plus everything else about her that just seems really ominous and very uncertain. So like we have like the lies, the runaround saying that she worked at like, I don't know, Disneyland or something, but she didn't actually work there. She made the lies about the nanny, Zanny the nanny or some shit like that. And then like the stories kept changing, and there's just so much about her that just made her seem very trustworthy. Did you guys ever watch the Danielle Redlick trial? This trial happened recently, actually. And because I don't want to say that like, oh, just because someone lied and just because someone didn't seem like they were grieving means that they're lying. Because Danielle Redlick, she was in a very abusive relationship with her. That's my dog. Let's get the fuck out of me. Danielle Redlick was in a very abusive relationship with her husband. Her husband was very, very abusive. And she was the one that had the headlines about, oh, woman murders husband, but then goes on a dating app afterwards, right? And so I think those headlines were pretty fucky. Like, they were definitely very exaggerated. So what happened was that her and her husband were like in a fight, and it kind of lasted, I think, like more than a day or something. And she was trying to avoid her husband because she knows her husband is like very like abusive and whatever. And like at some point it got to a really bad altercation. He was attacking her, and she like grabbed the knife. She like stabbed him. And she said she stabbed him once, and then she ran to the bathroom. She stayed there for a little bit, and then she came out. She realized he was dead. She tried to clean up. Couldn't get it cleaned, of course. The kids weren't home. They were sleeping over at someone's house. And she kind of was just like, I don't know, chilling around the house for a little bit. She did open her dating app, I think, just like, because I think she was just kind of like, I don't think she was like on the dating app looking to find someone to fuck. She was on the dating app because she was just like, you know, when you pull up your phone and sometimes you just pull up Instagram, but you don't mean to pull up Instagram. You kind of just pull it up because you're just like kind of like going autopilot mode. And so she was like crucified for that because of that headline, like, oh, woman, you know, murders her husband. And then she pulls up her dating app, and then like, it looks really bad on her. But I watched the trial, and I did find her story to be very convincing, because she actually looked really bad, because so she tries to clean up, doesn't call the cops. She, you know, went on her phone. Of course, the dating app was pulled up. And I think like the next morning she calls the dispatch and was like, oh, my husband is dead. They're like, what happened? She's like, oh, I think he had a heart attack. And they're like, what do you mean heart attack? Like, is he breathing? When did this happen? And she's like, oh, it happened like last night or a couple hours ago or something like that. Like, she had a really bad, rough start. Like, you know, she had a really bad story. She didn't call the cops right away. She apparently had the dating app thing. She had another guy she was saying. There's a lot of things that like made her situation look really bad. But because when she was on the witness stand, in my opinion, she seemed very credible. Like when she explained her story, how things happened, I found her to be really credible. And then the jurors did as well. The jury did as well. They actually, it was like she was found not guilty. But there was a lot of shit that was not good for her. But I think it's possible that sometimes when you do something or you're involved in something bad, it's possible that just because it looks bad, there could be a lot of other, I don't know, like redeeming factors that can kind of like sort of exonerate you, I guess is what I'm trying to say. I don't know. Because like people are like, oh, well, you know, Casey lied. It's like, well, Casey lied, but it's not only because she lied. There are other things about her that made her seem untrustworthy, right? Like same thing with like, you know, like Amber Heard. It's not that just like Amber Heard lied about the donations, right? It's the donations. It's like a bunch of other things that kind of come together, and you have like a holistic, you know, viewpoint of it. It's not just like one clump that's, you know, like, I don't know how to describe it, but really, you thought she was totally guilty. I don't know. I believed her story. I believed her story. I think that her husband, he seems like he was really abusive, crazy. And yeah, like she stabbed him, and she was kind of like, fuck, I don't know what to do now. But yeah, the donate and pledge thing. Yeah. So it's not just like, oh, Casey, you know, Casey's not believable because she lied about Zanny the nanny and she changes her story. There are people who do that, but they could still be found credible at the end. But with Casey's trial, I don't know. I didn't believe her. I didn't watch the whole trial, but it was like all the stuff that I was reading about it that was just like, I don't know. She just didn't seem very credible. And then like, I don't know. Maybe it's like, I don't know. Some people don't like the arrogance that she has on her face as well. Xana and Nanny, code for Xanax. Child free by babysit routinely. Freak out when I lose the baby for a few seconds. No way I could go days not question anything. Yeah. Absolutely. Someone pointed out it was wild that she brought huge frames of photos of the baby and hung them on the wall, but it was a... Wait. Who? Wait, Julie, who are we talking about? Maybe I'm cynical and don't trust people. Oh, don't worry. I am too. I am too. Using the same wine spill for multiple dates. Don't know how Horde's lawyer get in that. Yeah, I don't know. Thomas says Casey's guilty 100%. Yeah, apparently Jose Baez and his team just did a really, really good job at planting the reasonable doubt in the juror's head. Oh, another commentary person on YouTube pointing out the frame seems staged. Oh, for who? Casey? Or are we talking about the Danielle Redlick trial? Yeah, that lawyer is awesome. Cooper says hi. Hello. For Casey. Oh, here's what I wanted to look up, though. I wanted to watch the medical examiners and the people, the team that found Kaylee's remains. Do you guys know anything about Kaylee's remains? Like how she was literally like discarded in the middle of the fucking woods. But do you guys know if she was like, was she buried? I know she was wearing her clothes, but was she like wrapped in a blanket? Like, did it seem like her body was just carelessly discarded? Or was it like, oh, you know, they like dug her a grave, they like gave her favorite toys, her blankets, like do you guys know anything about it? Because I was looking online, I didn't really see too much details, but I feel like I have to watch the testimony of the crime scene people and the medical examiners that found her. Casey and Jody are two examples of murderers that are really bizarre, clearly guilty, but a few believe them. Do you guys hear about the, I don't know if she would talk about the Chris Watts stuff. Oh man, there's some crazy shit with Chris Watts as well, but I don't know, man. Some people just like to simp for their favorite murderers, I guess, but yeah, I don't know. But I think with Casey, her trial is that she had a really good attorney that I think like they weren't able, she had a really good attorney that was able to plant like the reasonable doubt in people's head. And then also the prosecutors weren't able to definitively show that Casey was the one who did it because there was like doubt between whether it was a dad or like her or something like that. She was in a trash bag wrapped in her blanket with a piece of duct tape. Oh, yeah. And like they couldn't find Casey's DNA on the duct tape, right? I remember reading about that. Some say it was just closing the bag. Yeah, see, like that's so weird. That's so weird. That's like there's no love, there's no care, like oh gosh, like putting your daughter's body in a trash bag, like and just dumping it in the woods, you know? You guys hear about I think her name was like Skylar something. She was I want to say cheerleader or I don't know, she was a high schooler who found out she was pregnant, concealed it from her family, gave birth on the night of prom. She gave birth secretly in her bathroom, I believe. And she was on trial for, I don't know how she did it, but like on trial for murdering her born baby because the medical examiners found that they found that the baby actually took like breaths of air before it actually died. You guys hear about that one? She tried to burn the body. Yeah, she tried to burn the body under the tree. Didn't she at least give more care to the baby than Casey did or whoever it was that dumped the body in the woods? Because I knew she tried to burn the body, but like I remember, didn't she like put some like stuff with, I don't know, maybe, fuck, I had to look it up. I could have sworn she buried the newborn with like other shit. Like, I don't know, just like stuff like, I don't know. Maybe she did. Yeah, Skylar Richardson. Yeah, I think she's like, isn't she like off the hook now? Skylar Richardson. Right, they decided to seal her court documents, right? Wait, what happened to her? She was found guilty in September 2019 of gross abuse of corpse, 5th-degree felony, following the death of her baby girl, whom she buried in the backyard at her parents' home. Is she out of jail now or something? A sealing a conviction essentially means that no longer can exist in the criminal justice system. It cannot be viewed publicly as part of the clerk's or court's records. Is she free now? Oh, she was released. The motion requesting a stay was filed in August by her attorney, Charles Ritgers. 19 months. Richardson was released from probation. Ordered the judge who presided over the trial, released Richardson after 14 months of her 36 months. Oh, she got probation for that? In the opposition to seal the motion, said that without the law enforcement's discovery of a full-term baby girl in Richardson's backyard, no one would have known the child existed. Oh, man. It is a little bit scary that these people might have kids again in the future. Yeah, I could have sworn that when she buried her baby, though, she took, aside from trying to burn the corpse and failing to do so, I could have sworn that she took, I don't know, like she sentimentally like buried the baby and not like threw it in a trash bag out in the fucking woods somewhere. Lee Anthony said that the dad would wrap family pets in trash bags and duct tape it closed when he buried them. Who knows, such a mystery. Inside Casey Anthony's head, ex-cheerleader. I thought there was something near the tree. Yeah, right? It was put near the tree as a memorial. That's what I thought, something like that too. They're saying that hell was 6 miles deep, but what's deeper? Oh man, if hell existed, it'd be way more than 6 miles. Think of how many people have to fit it there. You listen to her confession. Carla Homolka is the other one. Who is that? When asked if she believes that Kaylee drowned in the above-ground pool, Anthony said no. There was no ladder, no way for her to shimmy up. There's no way to explain that unless George put her in the pool to cover up what he did. Her allegation stunned the juror, who has always believed that the pool was involved in Kaylee's death. The entire defense was that Kaylee drowned in the pool, but now she's saying that she didn't drown in the pool. So the entire defense was a lie. Either that or she's lying now. Who can tell for sure? Oh, so sad. In the interview, Anthony makes yet another damning accusation against her father. When I was young, he would put a pillow over my face and smother me to knock me out. That happened several times. I'm sure there were times where I was incapacitated as a child, or my body was limp and lifeless. The juror had people replay that quote 3 times. That's something that would have been mentioned in the court if it were true, because that would be a defense. But I don't remember that coming up in court, which makes me feel like she came up with that after the fact. I don't believe it. At another point, Anthony acknowledges that her fictitious nanny, Zenaida Fernandez Gonzalez, didn't exist. During a police interview, Anthony alleged that the nanny had kidnapped Kaylee. We knew that it was a figment of Casey's imagination, but keep in mind that we never heard it from her own mouth that Zanny the nanny was made up. She created an entire person to cover her tracks. Ridiculous. I don't know what to expect, the juror adds. I think I wanted answers that I'm never going to get. If I heard her talk during court, I would have convicted her. I really think so. Asked whether there was anything in the interview that changed his mind about Anthony, the juror thought for a moment. No, this is classic Casey A. She's still lying after all these years, and once a liar, always a liar. How many episodes is it?